Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is August 20th, and right now we're doing a special edition here. Tropical Storm Hilary continues to spin over Southern California. Check out some of these bands of rainfall moving across Las Vegas. Extremely heavy precipitation associated, lightning, thunder out there. There's still even technically a tornado threat with some of these storms, but that's not the main threat here, and that should be winding down as we go through the evening and overnight hours. Check out Death Valley, Furnace Creek right there. Big, heavy rainfall, continuous falling across the area out of the Mojave Desert as well. And these bands are going to keep moving over the area here, so folks. So expect it to continue on. And even though you're going to get a break here across a lot of Las Vegas and some of the areas here, it's going to return. And looking at the wider view of things here, you can kind of see these bands, still a lot of them to come here as the storm continues to make its slow march across California, likely ending by the time you get towards noon tomorrow for a lot of Southern California here, but still pushing up across some of the deserts and Nevada here on in through the day tomorrow as well. And don't sleep on the convection across Arizona up into Utah. You're probably going to have strong storms moving over the area tomorrow afternoon and Tuesday as well. We'll look at those details here, if not tonight, then tomorrow morning. This is looking at the mid-level water vapor loop, clockwise rotation, big ridge out here, upper level low off the coast, and the Pacific Northwest like gears in a machine, funneling all this tropical moisture northward, causing this extreme precipitation across the area. And, there's flash flooding out there everywhere. Don't let your guard down. This is still an ongoing situation. There's water rescues. There's all kinds of water over roadways. There's some roads washed out. So hopefully there's no loss of life. Hopefully everybody was prepared enough here for this system as it came in. This is looking at the mesoscale precipitation discussion for the area, talking about catastrophic, potentially life-threatening situation here going on across California. And you can see they kind of put the low pressure right there. It's probably right there. The Hurricane Center just updated it just north of Los Angeles here recently. So that will continue its slow march northward. And looking at the thunderstorm forecast for northern Arizona, I don't want anybody to sleep on this activity tomorrow and Tuesday. Some flash flooding can be continuing on here. It could be kind of widespread. Strong storms moving across the area. And for the most part, you can see some stronger winds off the coastline there. Maybe some gusty winds down towards the coast. Or the border down here in California and Mexico, but you can see off through the deserts, the wind should be continuing as you go on in through the night tonight, but gradually dying down as we go on in through Monday. Here we go with the NAM 3KM hot off the presses here. It's a 0Z run. Look at this precipitation moving across the area. Would be about this would be about an hour ago. This is pretty current to right now, about 8 p.m. or so, 8 to 9 p.m. You can see this activity moving up across the area here. Southern California, this should be continuing on into the overnight hours. As you can see, some of that upslope flow, orographically induced precipitation continuing on. This is about 8 a.m. on Monday morning. Still some heavy rain going on across some of Death Valley area out to the Mojave Desert, through Nevada, before this finally starts to kick up through Nevada here. But again, look at some of this activity across Arizona, Utah here as well. And you can see we're all the way in through Monday afternoon here, and still some heavy precipitation ongoing across Nevada as well. So interesting stuff here as this system finally kicks northward towards Oregon, Idaho, Washington, and Montana. And this goes on through tomorrow morning. Still the high risk is out there for the flooding conditions, moderate up towards central portions of Nevada as well. This would be day two. And you can clearly see this storm going northward at this point here across Nevada, all the way into even southeast Washington, potentially with some heavy rain as well, Idaho and Montana, as this brings moisture around the ginormous heat dome out here across the central portion of the country. Very interesting stuff. I'm glad the models did such a good job with this system here. One of the GFS, you got to kind of take your hat off to it. It did spot this tropical system moving up over California about a day in advance of the European model. So GFS, it's got some value out there. This is still ongoing right now, that 2% for the tornado threat, but that should be on the wane as we speak. And again, the rainfall being the biggest threat. This is for tomorrow, some of the strong storms across Arizona, Utah. I think that's about the third time I've mentioned it there. And this is what's going on. This is why California doesn't typically get hurricanes, because that grass out there would be the cold water off the coastline there. You move from the very warm water over Mexico. Hurricane is the same as a dust devil, heat transfer process. You can see the dust devil go off over the colder water there, and the circulation kind of loses a lot of its punch here. So the tropical storm still packs a punch by the time it gets to Southern California there, and there's a lot of moisture associated with it, which you can imagine being the dust. But for the most part, once you get over that colder water, you take away the energy source of the hurricane there, and that's why it's just a tropical storm and not a much more powerful hurricane. by the time it gets to Southern California. And here we go, the latest update, 8 p.m. about an hour ago there. You can see the center of it just kind of smack dab over Los Angeles. Should be a depression by the time we get towards tomorrow morning. And this is looking some of the early reports here. Look at this widespread big precipitation here. San Gabriel Mountain, some of the Los Angeles Metro, Santa Monica, out towards, what is this, Oxnard and Thousand Oaks, just some big precipitation amounts. And, we're going to continue this rainfall. So these totals are just going to increase. You can see some 8+ inch totals out there as well. Palm Springs, probably, between 2 and 3, maybe some 4-inch totals coming up around that area as well. But we'll do a recap of this as we go on and through the next few days as well. But just kind of highlighting just how much rain has fallen across a lot of Southern California. But anyway, I'll just wrap this up. I just wanted to do a brief update of what's going on tonight. But the biggest threat, really, some of that heavy rain across Las Vegas, going on in through Death Valley, some of the desert areas, and the continuation of the very heavy rainfall across some of the mountains surrounding Los Angeles and off to the east there, as well as the system continues to move over the area. So anyway, I'll do a normal briefing tomorrow. We'll go through any update at that point. And over the next few days here, we will do a recap on the system. We'll try to look at all the precipitation values. We'll kind of compare it to what some of the forecasts were saying as well, and just kind of see how things lined up. But yeah, kind of interesting here. Nice that the models did a good job here several days in advance. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to call it a night here. I'm going to get some rest, do my briefings tomorrow. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys then.